Good morning. Welcome back to the War Room. I am Malik. Today is Wednesday, April 15th. If you survived the last 48 hours with your capital intact, you are in the top 1% of traders in this country. Over the weekend, we warned you that the artificial 165,000-point floor built by the state was made of glass. On Monday, that floor spectacularly shattered. The state temporarily stepped away, and the KSE-100 index violently collapsed by 5,000 points to 160,591. Retail traders were brutally margin called, their portfolios wiped out in a matter of hours, as the reality of the 520 rupee diesel shock finally hit the tape. But then came Tuesday. Yesterday, the sovereign market makers returned to the board with absolute ruthless aggression. The KSE-100 surged an unbelievable 5,043.52 points in a single session, completely erasing Monday's bloodbath and closing the day right back at the artificial ceiling of 165,634. This is no longer a stock market. This is a systemic wealth extraction loop. Today, we dissect the anatomy of the 824 million share repossession, and I will show you why today's corporate calendar is going to force the energy and banking sectors into a brutal reality check. Let us analyze the pure tape mechanics of Tuesday's 5,043-point whiplash. Look directly at the participation. The main board traded over 824.5 million shares yesterday. When a market drops 5,000 points on Monday and immediately recovers 5,043 points on Tuesday on 824 million shares of volume, it proves exactly what we have been saying. Free market mechanics are dead. The state is playing a terrifying game of ping-pong with retail capital. They deliberately let the floor break on Monday to flush out the weak hands. They forced retail traders to panic sell their high-quality assets at rock-bottom prices. Then the sovereign funds swept in yesterday, injected nearly 1 billion shares of liquidity, and bought those exact same assets back at a massive discount, dragging the index right back up to 165.6K. The underlying macroeconomic reality has not improved. The Strait of Hormuz is still a war zone, and transport margins are still burning. You are being actively hunted by algorithmic market makers. The index might be back at 165,000, but the corporate boardrooms are still choking. Today is Wednesday, April 15th, and the PSX calendar is flashing 3 severe structural pulses across the banking, energy, and cement sectors. Mark your screens. 10 a.m., United Bank Limited, dropping first quarterly accounts in Islamabad. With the industrial sector suffocating on fuel costs, corporate debt defaults are looming. UBL's forward guidance this morning will serve as a massive systemic pulse check for the entire banking grid. 11 a.m., K Electric Limited, holding an emergency mystery meeting in Karachi for matters other than financials. The energy sector is the epicenter of the current crisis. When the primary power provider for the country's industrial hub holds a non-financial meeting during a global oil shock, it signals extreme operational restructuring or emergency tariff adjustments. 3 p.m., Bestway Cement Limited, dropping third quarterly accounts in Islamabad right into the afternoon close. Cement margins are entirely dependent on freight. This earnings report will bypass the fake market floor and reveal the absolute unvarnished destruction caused by the double transport logistics. Here is your battle plan for Wednesday. Do not trade the whiplash. The state broke the floor on Monday just to rebuild it on Tuesday. If you try to day trade this volatility, you will be systemically dismantled by the sovereign algorithms. The 165K war zone, the 165,634 line is not a fundamental support level, it is a barricade. Watch the tape closely around 11 a.m. when K Electric meets. If they signal an energy grid collapse, the market makers will be forced to defend the floor again. Total cash supremacy. The insiders looted the ceasefire, and now the state is looting retail panic. We do not participate in rigged games, we watch from the bunkers. Keep your armor on, hold your capital tightly, and command the Wednesday. Disclaimer. StockSense is an educational platform. I am an analyst, not a financial advisor. The market is facing unprecedented geopolitical volatility. Trade at your own risk.